Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And I've been waiting for this call since the season began. It's the last call we had was epic, through the roof, just so energetic. And I remember the tears flowing for some people in the audience and the hearts that were opening and just what was flowing through. And tonight I know it's not going to be anything short of that. And from what Anthony and Renee are telling me right now, what's coming through them, with them in their consciousness and how they're channeling, I would say is increasing in potency. And I know I'm paraphrasing or maybe injecting something that I'm feeling or that my understanding of what I heard. It's if it's beyond what it was last time, you'll hold on to your seats, fasten your seatbelts, open your heart, and just say yes to receive what's in your highest and best alignment right at this time. I promise you, there's so much here. So again, sit back and enjoy the show, and we'll get into Q&A later, and this will be your opportunity to ask Renee, Anthony, or we see who comes through Anthony today. Questions from that consciousness. What can I tell you about Anthony and Renee? I forgot how we met, but I'm so glad that we did. And I had the opportunity to have a session, and it just blew me away. And I just knew it was so aligned. And one of my biggest passions I was talking about, it's like I get to interview consciousness from other dimensions and from other lives, ascended master beings. What a privilege. Can you imagine a job that is more fulfilling than that? I'm sure there's lots, but for me, it's just, I've reached the pinnacle in something that I wonder if it gets better than that, what is it? But y'all get to experience this here also. And again, Anthony and Renee, just their hearts, their intentionality of what they're bringing through, it's second to none. So they're modern mystics, channelers, and healers. Renee Blodgett and Anthony. Anthony, pronounce your last name for me. I want to get it right again.
It's Italian, so I'll say it Italian. Compagnone.
Compagnone.
That's it.
Anthony Compagnone are the voices behind Blue Soul Earth, which is focused on igniting global consciousness by bridging the worlds of science and spirituality. They ignite the human potential and help others transform from within by tapping into their own innate wisdom. So the answers to the questions of why am I here and how do I step into a life purpose to live a more joyful life come with both ease and grace. The teachings focus on universal consciousness, heart-centered living, and human experience. And with that, Anthony and Renee, welcome back to BTO. It's so great to have you all here today.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We love your work, John. We really do. We felt as aligned as you did when we first met you way back when. So always happy to be here.
It's wonderful to have you guys here. And I just want to dive into, I have so many questions of what's coming through, because for me, and I feel it for our community also, there seems to be a big shift. It's not just a big shift in the world paradigm. It's not yes, of course, what's happening in the world, but as we speak to these ascended masters, to the higher consciousness beings, as we reach out for information and we embody, there's really a strong, for me, kind of a reverse thing happening where instead of going up, I'm coming down. Instead of getting more wide and expansive, I'm coming more back into my body. And that's making me question, am I losing my spiritual capacity, even though things are still flowing through me? But there's a practicality, a sense of more of being human and manifesting in this realm than of trying to go to other places to gather parts of myself and then kind of hanging out there because it feels so good. What's your experience of that?
Perfect. Actually, what you said was perfect.
I think, what you're saying is
really what our guides remind us, that we are here in this earth plane, right? And so it's really important for us to be grounded so we can do the work.
I believe the experience that you're having is an experience that many people are having as well. Oftentimes when we are on our spiritual journeys, we are looking outward, we look outward, we go outward, we search outward. And then once we start to find the energies of who we are, everything starts to come back. It comes back into the earth realm. It comes back to here we are. And we start to truly understand who we are in this lifetime. Whatever that energy is for you, it starts to come and become more strong. It becomes more powerful. And you're right, it comes like this, and it just, and you become very strong, resolute in who you are as a human being.
So I think that's, when we first started on our path, we were talking about this at our recent retreat because the focus was on masculine and feminine. And the first energies that we channeled before the ascended masters were goddesses. They just came through in droves. It was very uncomfortable for an alpha male Latino guy from the Bronx for all these goddesses to come through. And part of that of being out there in the ethers with all of these goddesses was, first of all, I mean, you could speak to it really, is for you to get comfortable with the feminine, but also for us to play in these realms, which is exactly what you're talking about. We played with the gods and goddesses, and then the ascended masters, and then Melchizedek and Metatron, and then the angels. And now we're back to our core purpose, which is the masculine and feminine with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. And those are our two prime guides. So I think for all of us light workers, right, whether you're channeling, whether you're teaching, writing, art, running this amazing program that you are, that if you don't go out and figure out what you're resonating with, what you're connecting to, and what your divine thread or archetype is, then, it's going to be harder to do the work. So I think, I don't know, that's sort of what, once you go out, as Anthony said, it's like coming back in and incorporating all of that knowledge and that beautiful energy, and then bringing that forth to the world in a grounded way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the explanation of that. For me, again, it's like, wait, I'm so grounded, or I'm grounded like I haven't felt in a long time. I've become much more practical. There's kind of conversations about different things that are going on. I'm like, yeah, but it's not practical. It's like bringing back the practicality. And I kind of feel like I've, again, become more into what used to be called the muggle world, but I think it's really part of the new paradigm that we're stepping in. But there's an adjustment because I doubt myself sometimes, or is that the connection's there, but I'm much more in my body. So there's an acclimation that feels a little strange or unfamiliar because, again, I was out there for a while. And it's just, again, the way that my body hums, the way, even the dreams that I've had before where guides were showing up, it's like the dreams have become much more practical. They're not as mystical as perhaps they used to be.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Practical, and I use a word also, functional.
Yeah.
Nice.
How can it be functional for you? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to use it so that you can benefit not just yourself, but humanity itself as well?
Right.
That's the good question we all have to ask ourselves.
And really, I mean, look at what you do.
Yes.
If you can't be grounded and relatable to others who are watching the show, who are coming to you for advice or coming to your speakers for advice, and if they can't feel resonant, right, in a practical way, they'll be like, okay, this doesn't make sense to me, right? What does that mean, getting activated? And then, oh, by the way, I've got to go pick my kids up from school. So I think that practical application, our guides talk to us about it all the time. Go out, but then bring yourself in, get grounded, and use the divine love. That's what they always say, divine love, the divine spark, and the divine ego that we each have to live our lives on a daily basis.
I wanted to mention too, John, that you are with very powerful channelers every day.
Yeah.
Which means you're bombarded constantly and you are taking on their energies. So I think you are now really becoming very grounded in who you are as an individual and as a soul. And you've taken what you've needed, and now it's all coming to fruition, if you will. You're containing it now. And that's a beautiful thing. It's wonderful.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for that reflection. Yeah, that really resonates for me. as we become more grounded into this functionality, though, again, we can be on these calls, we can do the courses, we can be in transmissions from Yeshua and Mary and from star beings, and there's an acclamation to the energy. How do we know how to use that functionality? It's like, what's like the call to action afterwards? Because again, it's wonderful to get into the feeling of it and to the expansion, and perhaps fear is being released, or limiting beliefs are being shedded and replaced with more positive initiation of what's possible. But there's a lot, just there's so much caught in the between the old limiting belief and the possibility of what can be created in the new. How do you guide people into being able to create something or to walk forward with this new container that they're able to carry?
Okay, so let me ask you a question, amigo. With everything that you've learned, all of the energy that you have allowed to come into your auric field, into your soul, everything that you have become, what are you going to do with it all now? What are you doing? Where is it leading you?
It's sharing it with others. I mean, it's about sharing with others. And then for me, it's also a reflection of self-love and how I treat myself with compassion, and activate that potential through different creative avenues. What fills my heart, what feels in resonance.
What feels in resonance.
Yeah, that's Yeshua will say that all the time.
That's perfect. You are using the divine ego, the intuition of who you are, and you're going with it. And that would be the message that we would give to others. In a sense.
I mean, think of the divine ego, because just in case that's a new term for people.
We just use that.
We use that because our guides use it. But think of the high heart.
Yeah.
So your heart chakra, then there's the high heart. And back in the Gnostic Gospels, it was referred to as the Greek word nous, which is the in between, right? That communicates to the ethers and to the earth realm, or, this grounded Gaia planet that we live on. And so that divine ego, or the divine high heart, I think it's what we need to do is so simple. It's hard. Our guides would say, just be of love, And it's funny because we talked a little bit earlier, like, one of the books that we're working on that's channeled with, from content with Yeshua. And it's so simple, the messages, like, even when I get frustrated and I'm like, well, what else can we be doing? And Yeshua goes back to these simple messages of be of love, be of service, be of gratitude, be of empathy, and share these qualities with others. Right? That's what he says every time he comes through.
And I think if you follow that, your intuition, and you let go of the fear, you surrender to what it is that you truly are, it's all going to work out. And you have faith in that.
Yeah.
Faith is one of the most important things there is faith.
Yeah.
If you lack the faith in who you are as an individual, if you lack the faith that you are not divine in who you are, then you will start to go astray. But then again, that too is a path.
Right. Yeah.
That
True.
too is another path. So
And it's about not being triggered along the way, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we can recognize our divinity, I guess, if you want to use that word, or our progression. I hate to use that word because it's so linear, right? But just, are we developing on this path? Are we becoming more of love? And I think the test is, are we becoming triggered with things, that used to trigger us, or are we able to just sit, right? Just sit and be in that, as Pema Chodron so beautifully says, just sit and be with the discomfort, and then it dissolves.
Oh, that's so interesting you said that. I was having this conversation a few weeks ago. Everything that could go wrong was kind of going wrong, and conversations were coming in, and it was a few years ago, it could have been very triggering, very anxious making, very fearful making, very just, or whatever it was. And it's just like, and I, upon reflection of each one and looking back at my reaction to them, is like, oh, wow, what a testament to where I am now compared to where I used to be. It's like how one, it was during Mercury retrograde, and all these things were like travel delays and planes being missed and luggage being lost and police officers in Mexico stopping us for ransom money and whatever. It's like really? Okay. It's like, all right. It was crazy. Like if something could go wrong, it went wrong, but it was also beautifully right because it really allowed me to see not only who I was, but who I was with also, because I'll tell you who you are by who you surround yourself with is one of the sayings that we have in South America. And it was very much in that alignment where we didn't lose ourselves for the illusion of what these other things were pretending to take away from us. And so I love that you say that. And I think that is coming up a lot for so many of us, for the collective.
Yeah. And you know how we've talked about this many times on your show and, you know, other people that you've had on this whole third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, umpteen, you know, dimension. And our guides always say there really are no hierarchical dimensions, right? And so what you just described on your trip to Mexico, you were in, if you want to call it a higher dimension, right? But it really wasn't. You were here, you were floating in between levels of consciousness. And so when you were in this other level of consciousness, you're going to be much more aware of those who are not matching your frequency.
And not allowing ourselves to be taken over by that frequency. And I think that's really part of the mastery of becoming an empath.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Not allowing yourself
Spot on.
Absolutely.
Not allowing yourself to be taken over by a frequency that is, how do I say this? We already have everything that we need. We already are divine. Don't allow yourself to go to a place you don't want to go. That's a self-defense, as I've done so much self-defense. Don't let someone take you somewhere where you don't want to go. As souls, let's just stay in our divinity of who we are, this God source energy, this Christ consciousness of who we are, the divine feminine, divine masculine, and let's stay there. Let's frequent with each other, like souls frequent with like frequencies, and that's where we're going to be. Of course, there are going to be bumps and mountains and other things, but
I'm laughing because I'm thinking, you know, we have like this membership group, you know, whatever community that we get together on a regular basis. So we know these people, they're always coming back. And this guy who's pretty advanced, right? He just, I don't know, some of our peeps might be here now, but he had asked a question that just cracked us up because, you know, from someone who is so advanced to ask this question. And he said to Yeshua, when you're not working, do you hang out in the Ascended Masters Club with energies like Saint Germain? You know, and it's just something that among our group, you know, that would never come up. I don't know. I see Sherry here. I don't know if she was in that particular call, but like everyone just burst out laughing because the answer did, I mean, obviously it's silly, right? But you know, the energy did say, because we do channel the Saint Germain energy. And so Yeshua had said exactly what Anthony just said, which was like frequencies hang out, if you want to call it, with like frequencies. And that is the same thing with all of the people who gather here, right? You know, I think, you know, it's not surprised that we align with the way that you think in your show and all of that, because somehow our frequencies find each other. Right. So, I mean, it's a silly question and it made us all laugh, but there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
So how do we get to that place? And I can't tell you, it's years of really just getting to know myself and doing the work and getting over fears. And but what would you tell someone in the audience? What do you do to start getting to that place where you're not triggered by different things?
You know, it's
April, did I run out, or is that Anthony and Renee that froze? If you can type it into the chat, let me know. and I will hold the field until they come back in, if it's them. If it's me, I'll hang up and come right back. They froze. Okay, thanks for letting me know. They'll be back in a second, I am sure. There's something really powerful that's coming through Anthony and Renee, and I love that I get to talk about them while they're not here, as to not make it seem so grandiose. And here they are, or April's coming in. They'll be back in a second, but truly what they're channeling is just keeps leveling up over and over. And whenever I get on the phone with them again, you can just feel the potency of what's coming through. So we're going to have Anthony probably go into channel mode here in a little bit. And I highly encourage you guys to ask your personal questions. I'm not sure who's going to come through. Most likely Yeshua. It could be Isis, Mary Magdalene, Mary. But it's been really strong. And I can't wait to ask some of these questions about this last retreat that they led, because it's another slew of intelligence, I want to call it, that we have access to now. We're doing this great popping of consciousness right now and awakening. So it's exciting. And I love it that what they're sharing is also matching different aspects of my personal experiences. And what I want to invite you into is that what we're talking about, this consciousness, like, hold on a second, I'm kind of doing that, or this is happening to me, or I'm getting glimpses of this in my life. Put those pieces of the puzzle together for yourself. It's like, wow, that is doing, this is kind of happening to me, or I can really resonate with that. I had this other experience. And that's the spark of inspiration that is burning inside of you, that is coming out as you embody the potentiality that's being actualized now. And so I want to get into, okay, so how do we take that actualization? Again, we embody it, we share it with others, we become the empathy, the love, the compassion for others. And again, they say it's really simple, but it's not so simple when we have been in the illusion and the hypnosis of a society and a culture and an industrial way of living that has us forget on a continuous basis. So our job, if you will, since you talked about jobs with Jeshua, is to remember as much as we can. And we can leave it to our minds to remember, but perhaps sticky notes would be good. Perhaps a bookmark in a book. Perhaps a token in your car. Perhaps an altar that you set up in your house. Perhaps it's just by remembering to do an act of compassion on a daily basis for yourself and for someone else. To get into the habit of what it is that we want to become by being it for another right here, right now. And again, it seems so simple. But again, the habituation of the limitations is what has frozen us. Funny, we're frozen on camera. It's frozen us from thinking that we can take action in a direction which our hearts are leading us to, which we're suffering from not being there. And it's right there, right in front of us. If only we don't forget. If only we don't forget. So they should be back in a second. Let's see how they come in, or maybe they can phone in. April, will you email Anthony and Renee the link again, and maybe also give them the telephone number to call in, if that's going to be easier for them, and let them know they can even phone in, and we can have the conference that way. Linda, thank you so much. Linda says, I'm asking great questions. I can't help but to ask these questions. Aren't you just, it's like, come on, let's get practical. Let's get functional with it. Let's take what I've been inspired to share here on Beyond the Ordinary for the last almost 10 years, and let's apply it in our daily lives, because this is our time. This is the time that we get to put it into action. We have been asking for the ability to manifest at will, at creation. as we've been stepping through these dimensions, and they talked about our ability to create by law of attraction, but that holds in it our ability to resonate with other dimensions that would allow us to speed up the way that our consciousness creates. That we have come into this space that what we've asked for in our capacity to manifest is right at our disposal. And so to be aware of your power to manifest, yes, for you, of course, but out of that self-love, what that creates in the ripple effects for the collective consciousness. Remember the power that you be. We've asked for this. It has been given, and now we get to do what our hearts have always intended us to do with this power. Anthony, Renee, welcome back.
Running up, rebooting the modem. We're not even in retrograde anymore.
There's a lot of energy running through. I was talking about you guys behind your back, so it was wonderful. And I was just talking about very specifically, it's like we've been through this spiritual awakening. We've been into how do we conjure? How do we become the alchemist? How do we get to the point of that we can manifest at will? I mean, truly, through that consciousness. And I'm of the belief, and from my experience as of very recently, and it's been showing up more and more, that our ability to manifest it's here. What we've been wishing for, our capacity to do so is here. And what do we do with that?
Yeah.
What's our choice, right?
You're absolutely right. I can only say that, Renee and I are from two kids from a small town up in upstate New York. And if we can do this, if this happens to us,
I mean, and the crazy things that happen crazy in a good way.
This can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
If you have the belief system set in place and you practice it, and you start getting into that flow. It's an unwavering,
though. It's definitely an unwavering.
Yes.
And you get into the flow and not self-sabotage yourself. Right? You just gotta keep going and having that faith and be in that energy. It's really you gotta be in the frequency.
Yeah, you have to be in that frequency, that heart opening frequency all the time, as much as you possibly can. Even when things start going terribly wrong, there's always a reason for it. Don't stay in that terribly wrong frequency. Just, crawl out of it, get out of it, and go back where you belong.
So Jackie's asking examples. I mean, I guess a great example would be where you are trying to manifest. It could be a job, it could be a relationship, and you're seeing the outcome, not in detail, but you're seeing, experiencing, meditating upon, and feeling into the feeling that you're going to have when this is already here. So you're seeing it and feeling it as if it's already here, not as if it's something that you yearn for or that you want. And then the other key is don't be glued to the outcome or how you get there. So, I remember before I really understood this, right? And the whole relationship game, and I'm sure we've all been through this. We have like our checklist. It's like, I'm not saying like checklists aren't useful, but a checklist doesn't really operate within the vortex of energy that we're talking about.
It's really seeing it already.
Yeah.
You have to picture it.
The feeling
of it. The feeling of it.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to my martial arts many, many years ago when I had to break a stone, a big slab, a brick. There was this idea that it was already broken. My hand was already through that. I saw it, and that's what would occur. It's the same thing when we're manifesting, whether it's a house, a car, a job, whatever it is, a soulmate, a partner. See it already there. Feel into it.
Yeah.
But that too takes a practice. It is definitely a practice.
Well, this takes me into two particular words that I think are so key. And there's different interpretations of this. And I'd love to ask both of you and then perhaps whoever comes in as well as an energy, because I'd love the different perspectives because you all embody so beautifully. And then that consciousness also, I'm sure, is going to collaborate exactly what you're saying. And there's a transmission for others to receive through their lens. But faith and devotion, for me, devotion is an aspect of the continuum of saying, yes, this is what I want to create, and this is what I want to manifest. And it's a key component of that alchemy. Without that devotion, that unwavering that you were talking about, we can say, I want this, but then I want this, and I'm going to practice this for a little bit, but then I'm going to practice other thing. And there's a lot of just kind of mill around, which serves in different ways. But I really think that I think we're being called into mastery in different ways. And there's an aspect of devotion that comes with that as well. And then faith as an aspect that goes beyond just belief.
Well, yeah. Yes. And I think devotion, right? There's a piece of devotion, or maybe it's the other way around. Gratitude is this fabric that comes into devotion. So I was, we do these like clothing things, with women. I do these clothing swaps. They're fun to do. And I have a friend who only buys Yves Saint Laurent and, the most amazing clothes that you can possibly imagine on the planet, right? And hasn't worn this stuff. And, they own several houses and, all of these things, right? So when you're talking about sort of the sense of abundance and you're with someone, you're with a friend who has a billion houses and, walk-in closets and whatever, your manifestation grid goes somewhere else, right? It kind of goes into wow, right? And then we were kind of talking about that today and just being grateful for, because she's like, well, where are you moving to and where are you going to? And suddenly I had to catch myself because there was this moment where I wanted to go into an old paradigm of thinking of where we thought we would be at this point and we're not. And of course, I'm surrounded by all of her clothes. And I just looked outside at the water and saw the birds. And I said, it's just all perfect. It was literally catching yourself in that moment of not going to that three-dimensional materialistic world to define your happiness, your joy, your reality, or whatever, and just going within and being present with where you are. And that was like a really interesting catch for me today.
Wow.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was just because, especially when you are in that world of material things, right? Surrounding you on all sides, it's so easy to go back into those older ways.
Well, and the flip side of that, with what's happening with the economy, with the scarcity consciousness coming in, with petroleum, with these forces at play that would take away really some of the things that are basic human rights and that provide dignity and compassion for others. There's forces that are perpetuating the belief that there's lack of safety, that we can't believe that we can be taken care of in that way, that there is this struggle to survive just for even basic needs. And that tends to be something that diminishes the vibrational capacity on so many different levels.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually.
I want to just make a quick comment before I go into the ethers. As a speech and language pathologist, I work in the Hispanic community, and I work with I would say, in this Hispanic community, they are not of means by any stretch of the imagination. But the one thing that I see they all have is faith.
Yeah.
They have faith in something greater than themselves. And I always ask them, what is it that you need that you don't have? And they'll always say, well, we have everything. We have faith in Christ. And I'm thinking to myself, there's something to that, this devotion, this faith that they have in something more than what they are, what they can't understand.
And they're not focusing on all these material things. They focus on family and gratitude, love, and connection.
So I think that's something to be said when we start thinking about, oh boy, the gas prices are rising, the food prices are rising, and things of that nature. Let us still maintain our faith in this energy of love and this energy of Christ and the energy of God, and things greater than ourselves or that we can't comprehend fully.
Whatever that is for you.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
the power of community. Let's not forget that, right? So that fear tactic that's coming from the outside, from our governments and so forth, there's nothing that we cannot achieve, accomplish, and do together, right? And that, you know, if Magdalene comes through, which I'm sure she will tonight, she will say women bind together, right? You know, help our sisters in Afghanistan, help our sisters in the Ukraine, you know, that together there's nothing that we cannot do when we put our hearts together.
That's true.
So with all that fear, you know, conspiracy stuff that's happening out there, the power of community and circles like this and gatherings like this, the exponential growth and strength and power of the field of energy of all 100 of us that are here tonight is really, really powerful. It amplifies, you know, and I think we need to remember that. Was that too much?
No, I think that's perfect.
I think it's lovely. I was actually talking about that the other day. I've traveled all over the world. I've been to really impoverished countries, and it's the generosity, the hospitality, the abundance, that I get to experience from all these places that I go. It's like, I don't know, we're being fed something that has us believe the 1% has power over the 99%. And I'm telling you, it's the 99% that are running that energy.
Yeah. So true. When we were in the Solomon Islands right before COVID hit, and we were there as guests, because I think, you know, John, I run a travel magazine as well. So we were guests of the Solomon Islands government.
Wow.
And very few tourists go there, really. So it was just the three of us, the head of the tourism board, Anthony and Renee, and we were on this remote island. And we were out in one of these old dung out canoes, the wooden, you know, they still make these hand carved canoes like they did hundreds of years ago. And we were out in one of these canoes, and we're the only, you know, Westerners there. And one of the guys that we recognized who had worked, you know, at the hotel where we were staying was out in the canoe. And so we waved to him, you know, and Anthony felt this love, you know, energy because his heart was so open. So he suddenly went into trance in the middle of the waters. And then our guides came through and just looked at me and looked at him and said, he needs absolutely nothing. Like he doesn't need a message from us. He is already so connected to God, so connected to everything. There's no message I could possibly give because he's living it. And I think that that was true. I mean, I've lived in 11 countries and been to 95. So I've been all over the world. And I would say that example is one of countless ones that
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There, the
so
90%,
many examples. Yeah.
These people whom we would see are poor, they may not have what we have, but they certainly are not poor in their faith, in their abundance of being connected to the all. I thought that they were going to need us channeling. They didn't need us to channel. They were already there. And it was
the only thing that was super cool, though,
incredible,
was that Anthony started channeling someone's great great grandfather on this sacred land. And it was wild because we didn't expect it. And the grandson was like, how does he know that? You know, these stories were only passed down through our great grandfather. And how does he even know that, you know, they did these ceremonies on this land? That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Amazing. Amazing. So shall we get into trance? I say we, Anthony.
Yes, we. It is a we sense. There really is a we to it. It can't be done without the community, without the whole. Because I may look like one, but we're all one together.
That's beautiful.
Without you, it's not possible. Who's going to come through? I already know. And why is it coming through?
Yeshua first.
It's going to be the Yeshua energy, Jesus. And why is that?
Followed by Magdalene.
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. She'll be very upset.
We'll speak about devotion and faith and things of that nature, and how it all comes back around. So
wonderful.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
Everybody just close your eyes.
Form a circle.
Yes, let's see ourselves in a beautiful circle of white energy, light beings that we are. There are no differences between or amongst us. We're all the same. We are all of God source energy. We are all of the Christ consciousness, which is love, first and foremost. And in that we have the resolve, the devotion and the faith of who we are as human beings. We are all of God, and God works through us. The Christ consciousness is working through us because that is who we are. Open your hearts, open your minds, and become one again with God.
See us together as one union, one group, one source, one energy. We are all connected. We are all one.
I am.
Okay.
Beautiful. I am who I am. I am the Yeshua energy, the Jesus man that you once called. I am the soul that came to this earth plane, not just once, but many times. I am here again. As I manifest myself through Anthony and Renee, I manifest myself through all of you as well. There is no difference between me and you. We are all the same. Perfect. You're all perfect in every way. See yourself. John, you are perfect. A beautiful man, a beautiful woman, a beautiful balance of both energies coming together in service to humanity again, doing it in a different way, stronger than ever before, son, brother, friend. And I am honored to be in your presence again. Beautiful.
It's my honor. Wow, make me well up.
As you do me, us. Don't make me cry now, soul.
We'll be crying together.
Indeed we will. Your questions?
I'm sure John has some. I'm sure the attendees have some as well.
The audience has some as well. And yeah, we got into the topic of faith and devotion and the interpretation of that. And I'd love for you to really bring forward the energies of the essence of the meaning in those and how they apply into our current state of consciousness collectively.
Okay, I will try to enlighten you. Now, you often know that I speak in parables. I still do, in a manner of speaking. I wish to tell you this. I will not take you directly where you need to go. I cannot do that, but I will lead you to where your soul desires to go. Now, often it is said by the religious affiliations, the doctrines and the dogmas, that I died for the sins of humanity. But that isn't really true, you know. That is what was said back then. It is what they understood. I was devoted and had faith to the message that I once gave and that I give now. I set the example of what it was to be devoted to who you are as a soul. Do not back down. Continue the path. I say to all of you these things again. Be of faith and be devoted to your path of discovery of who you truly are in this lifetime. And do not be afraid. It is true if they slap your face, you offer the other cheek, but continue on the path, nevertheless. You see, all of you, I am always with you all the time. If you are devoted to yourselves upon this path, then you are devoted to me. I am the consciousness of Christ. I am the Yeshua that you once know and know now. And I am here again with you, amongst you, in you, forever and ever. Now you understand me, don't you? Gaia. Very good.
Yeshua, when you speak of faith, though, what does that mean? Because there's certain interpretations of that, and some say it's blind faith. There was a guest on my show the other night that spoke about the experience of God versus an interpretation of God without the experience, and you're better off being an atheist and claiming what you know is true rather than saying that you know God. And so there's something in the knowingness and something about the intelligence of the faith rather than just an interpretation of what's been passed down through us, that a lot of it's been built on scarcity, on fear mongering, on control. And how do we supersede that to get it into the truest aspect of it so it can really serve us now?
That is a very good question.
It's a really great question.
Okay.
Because the blind faith without that inner knowing of something higher. For modern day times.
Okay. Where does fear, how does fear serve you? How does ignorance serve you? How does hatred of others serve you? How does pain serve you? These are the things that you have been taught. Loneliness and ignorance through your religions, that you cannot be one with God, that you cannot be one with Christ. That is impossible. But I say unto all of you, it is not impossible. I am here at this very moment to let all of you know that you must let go of all the things that you think you know and all of the things that you have learned. Let go of it. You ask about faith. I am not asking you to be blind. I do not wish that you be blind. I do not wish that you be poor. I ask all of you to find the abundance again of who you truly are, in the divinity of who you are, in the God source energy of who you are, in the masculine and in the feminine of who you are. Find that again in you as the soul, and I will always be with you. Miriam will always be with you. We are always there.
So the faith is in our soul's journey.
It is already there.
It's internal, not external.
Internal, not external. It's a little bit of both, you know. Sometimes you have to go out to come back in. And sometimes you have to go in to see what is out. Find, as the great Buddha would say, the golden mean, the middle path. And that is what's happening to all of you now. You're finding the middle path, the golden mean of who you are, not one extreme or the other, the middle. There is where you will find yourself, truly. But you must have faith in that. But do not be blind. Be intelligent. Read. Be with others that are like you. Educate yourselves. Lead yourselves into erudition, knowledge, and there you will discover yourselves again. I never asked anyone to be blind or to be ignorant. That does not serve you. Educate yourselves, and there you will find yourselves again in love and in peace. I hope that answered the question. Blue eyes. You are beautiful, you know.
That's beautiful. That answered the question beautifully. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I want to get into questions from the audience, but I'm remembering a quote from Alan Watts that I listened to quite a while back, and it's so beautiful. And it's kind of comical, but it's true at the same time. And he says the biggest atrocity about religion and about the Christian religion is that they pedestalized you, Jeshua, that they put him on a pedestal rather than following the doctrine, what I can do, you can do and more. They decided to put Christ on a level above, and from there really made it difficult to us to reach those heights based on the enculturation of the programming of the indoctrination in which they taught from.
Right, and God's there too.
Yes.
Up here, right, at the southern.
I did not put myself there.
Humanity did.
Yes, but I am here to tell you something different now. Do not place me upon a pedestal. Do not deify me. For I was man, as I am man now, as I am you now. And I'm here to tell you that this is your ascension, as you call it. This is the great awakening. This is the renaissance, the rebirth of humanity now. Nobody will come after you with a pitchfork and flame. No one can put you to the waters. No one can burn you. You now have the freedom to become and express your true, authentic selves, the divine selves of who you are now. I say unto all of you, do so and do not hesitate. For what you do to yourselves, you do to the all.
Because it has a ripple effect.
That is true, Gaia.
Yeah. So when you are living and being your God self, you're wearing your Christ consciousness self, the I am who I am, it has a ripple effect to everybody.
Perfect.
And everything.
So one last question before I get into Q&A from the audience, and it's so good to ask this. So Yeshua, how are we like you? How are we like Mary? How are we like these ascended beings? How are we of the cloth of you?
No one's asked that question before, by the way. You always have such great questions.
I love playing with you guys, yes.
John, my brother, I ask this unto you. How are we different? Are we not of spirit first? Are we not of God first and foremost? Do we not share Christ consciousness as love itself? Do not ask how we are different, John. Ask, how are we the same? then you shall know me again. Brother, you understand now, don't you? We are not different.
That we are all God.
We are all the source of divinity.
God and divinity. There is no separation and there's no difference.
With you always. I am always here. I am never separate from you. Do not believe that we are separate. Only see the sameness in us, the equity of us.
What we believe, we become. So if we don't believe that we are divinity, that we are God, that we are source, that we are the I am who I am.
And see the humanity also of who we are together as one. I am not different than you. And that was the first message that was given to Renee and Anthony. You are spirit first. You are human second and everything else third. Remember the divinity of who you are. You are spirit. You are of God. You are of source. You are of Christ consciousness.
You also teach us all the time too, that when we don't have the faith in that, that's when we get lost.
You stray, if you will. But even that, in and of itself, is neither good nor bad. It simply is. You decide on the frequencies where you decide to frequent. I say frequent with me, and I will frequent with you as well.
So it's when we don't believe and we don't have faith in that, that suddenly we return to, I must have karma, I must have shadows, I must have...
Or that the Jesus man must be higher than me. I must genuflex unto him. Do not put yourself on your knees to me. I will put my knees and I will genuflex to you. Because you understand again that we are the same.
So beautiful. So beautiful what's coming through. And now I want to start taking Q&A. We need to get into the special offer, but I have to reflect on this. My experience with connecting to these consciousness of these ascended beings. Never am I told what to do, but it's an invitation to be in relationship with. It's so beautiful, always. And that's where I know the resonance, what is in alignment for me. I'm never told what to do, but the invitation of what's available. And as we look at the suffering of our humanity in the Western culture, who have a lot of material things, but are afraid that it'll be taken care of. I don't see Jesus or Mary living in a mansion or driving a Benz. It's not something, or wearing the designer clothes, and that's not the essence that we're looking for when we tap into, and those things that will us up. The resonance that wells us up in this presence isn't of a material aspect. And so just the reminder, the remembrance of that, and seeing the purity of the consciousness that we be, that is looking for the like energy to be in resonance with. It's just such a beautiful embodiment that Anthony and Renee, thank you so much for being willing to transmit these energies through in this way.
That was beautiful. Actually, John, that was beautiful. Actually, just, echoing that back in a way that is very digestible for everyone to understand. It was great.
Amazing. Well, I'd love to open up to Q&A from the audience if y'all are up to it.
Sure.
All right, so let's go first to Eileen J. Let's start with you. And Eileen P, we'll go to you in a second.
She knows us, Eileen J.
Eileen.
This is really a treat. I thought about you this morning, and then I go and look in my email, and here you are. So we had thank you so much, John, for bringing Anthony and Renee back. I had a session with you beginning of March. I've done some of your coursework. I feel as though I just assimilated a lot. I feel there's a lot of grounding. What you were sharing, John, about going for different things, and then integration. And I feel there's been a big integration. I wanted to get your take on it, as I feel you're so much with me. And then chaos. Next door, they started to smoke, and I'm all congested. I went out and bought charcoal. Here's my story that I thought I was getting rid of. And, it's one of those things like, oh no, I didn't think I was moving. I like it here in Delray, And so I just going to throw that out and realize. And then today I said, there's always some good reason, maybe, there's something down the line that I should be looking for instead of getting into the victim. Right. So that's where I wanted to end my discussion and see what you guys think.
Trusting the process.
Mm.
You tell us daily.
I tell you to have faith. Faith in yourselves, faith in you, faith in the intuition of who you are. There are no coincidences. There are synchronicities of what your soul is experiencing at this very moment. Continue to have faith. Enjoy your life. Remember, there are ups and downs always. How boring it would be if it was just a straight path. Remember, it is time to learn, time to educate yourself, time to explore. Don't be afraid of the incidences that come to you.
The valleys, as you used to call them.
Yes. Explore the valley too.
Dance with it.
It's okay.
Dance with what comes up.
Have faith and everything will be okay. I can assure you. So.
Eileen, how can you dance with the smoke next door?
Oh boy. Well, I signed up for Sirius Radio, so that when I leave the house, I can lighten up. And I'm just getting out of the house more. I have to do that until I come up with a solution where I'm moving to.
Nature, get out in nature.
Get out in nature. Yeah.
And how wonderful to leave the house. So many of us have been isolated and accustomed for isolation. Is this an impetus to push you to get out more? Perhaps to be more social, to not be so isolated, to not be into the conditioning of what the last 2.5 years had brought to us. So, hey, hold on a second. How is this happening for me?
That's what I was getting to.
Well said, John.
I was getting this download.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do not push you out. The soul decides to send you on a journey somewhere else.
Yeah, our soul is the one that
to benefit your health as well.
All right, Eileen, thank you so much for calling in. It's wonderful to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, let's go next to Eileen P. Welcome.
It's so funny that our names are spelled the same, and and we're going through very similar experiences. And credibility is really important to me. And the woman that leads the building right now with management. I met her yesterday, and we instantly clicked, and she instantly understood what was going on with the neighbor. And I thought, I don't know why, but credibility is so important to me. To be credible to people. And I'm a composer, so I'm doing a lot of that work. And in fact, Yeshua, I feel that you helped me write one complete song called Today is the First Day, and another song called What Now? And it was wonderful. So there's all of this stuff going on, and there's the valleys, just like you were talking about, the valleys and the highs, and so I just wondered what you're picking up about this.
About the composing?
I love that too.
Okay.
Okay. Am I working through her, with her?
Hmm.
Do you believe I am?
Leave it.
Then I am. Do you feel me?
Yes.
Do you have faith in me? Then I have faith in you. And I love you beyond your understanding. I need you to know, no matter what happens, continue to compose, continue to create as you can, and you stay in that residence, because through you I will work. Remember this. Everything will be okay. That I can assure you.
That goes to the manifestation thing also.
Every time things seem not to be happening as they should, don't look how we are different, but how we are the same. Continue to compose. Continue to stay in the residence of love, the consciousness of Christ, the divinity of Source. Stay there. Perhaps these are your own little tests that you have given to yourself in this lifetime.
Your soul is given to yourself.
True.
Yeah.
God does not judge the soul. The soul does not judge the soul. It is your experience. Which experience do you decide to happen? Do you decide to experience? Make it of love and happiness, joy and grace and gratitude, and share these experiences with others through your creations. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, I want to get into the special offer, and Yeshua, I hope you stay with us, because there's some questions I want to ask you about what's being offered here, because they're so just on point right now. And so April's typing in the link in the chat box. You can click on the special offer link. April, if you'll pop it in there again, please. Click on the link in the chat box or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Anthony and Renee. You know what? Let me find what the link is. Click on the link in the chat box, because I think I may have the link wrong. And you'll open right to the page. And something that I have to say that I'm finding so interesting is, Eileen, maybe you've heard this also, when we speak resonance, and when Anthony and Renee say it, or when Jeshua is saying it, it comes off as residence. It's like the home that you live in, which is so beautiful. And what a beautiful invitation. It's like, what homes are we building? What home is it that we want to create in, to be in the energy with? So I love the...
Yes, you're correct.
And Magdalene, by the way, is also part of those offerings. Let's not forget Miss Mary Magdalene, or she will have words with us later.
In which residence do you decide to frequent?
So yeah, when we get into the special offer, and Renee, if you'll guide us through this, and if you don't mind, I may interject with a couple of questions here as we go along.
Yeah. So you mean with the offer? Well, we're going to do 2 live sessions. So
amazing.
We'll do probably one in a morning time and one in an evening, because the last time we were with you all, the Europeans were like, where's the recorded replay? Because I couldn't do the time. So based on that feedback, we're going to make sure that we give a good time zone for those in Europe. So we'll do a morning live session and an evening live session. And of course, you can come to both. Recorded replays will be available, of course, and that will be with Miriam of Magdala and Yeshua, primarily, yes, for those live sessions. So that will be an intimate gathering where you can just ask questions directly. And then there's a couple of courses. So one that we literally just finished. It was based on a live course that we did, which was Sacred Geometry with Melchizedek and Metatron. And
I love this.
Yeah, it's a little of a, it's a really out there course, everyone. Going back and doing the edits with it, I had some aha moments myself, like, wow, did this really come through? So it's, you know, it's a lot of content and a lot of questions around sacred geometry, but live channelings with, interactive dialogue with Melchizedek and Metatron energies. So that's, yeah, go ahead.
I would love Yeshua's explanation of really the resonance of sacred geometry, the channeling through that, and why use it as a tool, as a facilitation into our greater understanding.
Yeah, that's a great question. And also there seems to be, we've talked about this with you before, a connection between the Metatron Melchizedek energy and your energy. So do you want to speak about the sacred geometry and
sacred geometry
and the connection of why we also channel those two energies?
You had a philosopher over 2,000 years, even before me, his name was Plato, your Platonic solids, as you call them. He believed that there was energy, or that there were sacredness within these geometric shapes, and you could explain reality that way. Well, he had something there, you know. So what I say to you is this. Your sacred geometry can be found in nature itself. It is divine. Human beings simply imitate it. All of the designs are found within nature, and nature is a part of divinity. This is the sacredness of all things. Your stones, cards, pottery,
numbers,
frequencies and numbers. All of these things are sacred. Chanting, drumming, bowls. You decide on what type of sacred geometry, frequency that you want to take on this path, and see where it leads you. When the doors open up, there will be even more doors that you're going to lead you somewhere else. It is a journey of enlightenment.
And it's unlimited. It just keeps going.
It is of exponential power. Continue to follow these journeys, these sacredness, the geometric shapes, the numbers, the frequencies. However you find them, continue to open your heart to them and don't be afraid.
Is there something that you will lead us to related to sacred geometry when we go to ancient Judea with you, now Israel? Is there a connection there?
Of course there is. I lived there as a man once. The whole language of Judaism is based on numbers of sacred. The land itself is sacred and holy. It simply is. But we'll get to that when the time comes.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to working with you, John.
Yeah, me too. That's going to be exciting. Oh, wonderful. All right, y'all, that's just item number 2. Let's get to item number 3, manifest through spirit. So Renee, yeah, keep leading us through this.
Yeah, so that's a course all on manifestation, and it includes a workbook to really walk you through each step of the way with exercises and I hate the word homework, but there's exercises and interactive things to do. And then of course there's there's channeling that's part of that, right? Asking questions, going through actually a curriculum, and then having the guides come through and then answering questions. So that's mostly done with the Ascended Masters, that particular course. And it's all about manifestation. Right? Perfect.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And when you talk about manifestation and teaching about manifestation, why guide with manifestation if we have faith? we have all these other things. What's the power of manifestation, and why is it be bond into something that we can tap into with more expediency than we ever used to before?
So I think the thing with manifestation is it's a frequency resonance. And when you're not in that resonance, the manifestation can't happen. It's almost like the universe doesn't register the number. It's like you're asking the universe, but you're not doing it in a resonance field that the universe recognizes, if that makes any sense.
Manifestation is just another aspect, a frequency of who your divinity is. You can choose to enliven it if you desire.
You're talking about the auric field. Why don't you speak to, because this was actually, it will answer John's question and somebody else's question at the same time. When you manifested physical stuff, right?
Yes.
Like you manifested bread and fish, and do you want to talk about that frequency match of how you did that as a spirit being, recognizing how to go into that field and make that happen? I know it's probably a long answer, but
it is not a long answer. It is simply seeing it and feeling it, believing it, knowing it, that it's possible. There is no doubt. It is already done. It is complete. That is it. When I told Lazarus
to rise,
I said, Lazarus, to his soul, get up. Get up. Rise. Levántate. Whatever it is, I simply said, get up.
But it was a soul-to-soul communication.
So the manifestation is nothing more than knowing who you are, divinity, and practicing it. When I said to the mountain, move, it moves. You understand, your words are divine. The frequencies and the vibrations are divine. The resonance
this is the key.
Is divine.
Yeah. And knowing it.
It is a practice.
It's a practice. So that's why it's more than just faith.
It is more than faith.
Yeah.
It is a practice as well.
And actually the exercises in the course are the exercises you gave us.
Yes, they are.
That we've done. You're muted, John, you're muted.
There we go. Yeah, let's continue with the special offer again. We can do like 2 whole shows just explaining each concept of the special offer, but I want you guys to go in deeply, and I wanted to go a little bit into more detailed explanation because I want you all to feel the resonance of what's coming through. Really, it's my invitation to feel so that you can, there's a guidance in that. I know how powerful and how magnetic this work can be. And I'm so excited. So it's so resonant to me. And I just want it to be resonant for you so bad because I know what's possible here. Renee, let's continue here.
Well, I think the thing that I think is at least what we're so excited about this offering compared to anything else that we've done with you is it's so diverse, right? Because the live sessions are with Mary Magdalene and Yeshua and the Ascended Masters if they occasionally peek through. So you've got Mary Magdalene and Yeshua for the live sessions, and then you've got Melchizedek and Metatron for the sacred geometry, which is super powerful, and then also how you can apply that. So there's actually kind of a lot of galactic and star being questions that come up during that course. So I think it's super unique paired with Magdalene and Yeshua. And then the manifestation is just, we think it's a Bible. Like it's just, it's so fundamental. And, we did that, the original course we did a while ago, and this is an updated version, but every time that we watch it, we learn something. I mean, it's like it's almost like it's a reignition of what we already know, but it makes it alive again. I would say that's what makes me really excited about that course in particular.
We work through you.
Because it's a practice. It really is practice. And we still
Right.
do it. You know, we're in our new house now and we have visuals, we have words, we have mantras.
And where will you be next year?
Another upgrade, you said.
Possibly. Are you afraid?
No.
Good. Have you let go of control?
Yes.
Good. Do you have faith?
Yes.
Are you devoted to your path?
Yes.
Are you devoted to love?
Yes.
Are you devoted to serving others?
Yes.
Then so it will be.
That last one is key, everybody.
May I say to you now,
the big one.
Jesus.
If you wish.
Jesus. That is who I am. The very essence, the name itself frightened you. Let it frighten you no more. For I am here. I will always be here with you, Gaia.
And the true manifestation, the thing that you ended with is what you tell us all the time. If the piece in the puzzle is not to serve something bigger than yourself, the manifestation can happen, but it will not be sustainable and it won't be consistent. That's the one thing that we've learned on this journey.
John, touch one soul at a time. You will become perfect again, as you are. Good.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. All right, Renee, let's continue with the special offer. And I feel like there's a transmission maybe coming through from Mary Magdalene. I could be wrong, but if we can go through the offer, let's finish with that. And again, wherever it wants to go, but I feel like there's a final message to come through. Yeah.
And I think it would be great if Miriam did come through, don't you
You're
think?
right, John. I was saying to Anthony that I cannot do this without the feminine.
Yeah.
That I must ground Anthony and myself as a soul into the feminine energy. And with that, I will let Miriam, the other part of who I am, come through.
Yeah,
Remember,
well, I mean, I
just
right before she comes through, I can just add that part of the offering too includes the guided meditation that is channeled from our guides from the Ascended Masters on balancing the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And then there's also an ebook as well that's available in both video, audio, and digital format as well. That's available for you all about the soul.
And there's also preparing the temple for slowing down the body and the mind.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's interesting. We don't talk about that much, but it's something we'll be offering in the future. We haven't built it, but Anthony's built a whole martial arts thing, practice that is also combining martial arts with balancing our chakras.
I am Miriam of Magdala.
It's good.
It's good to see you again. I've been waiting to come through.
I know.
But I understand that Yeshua needs to speak. There is a tone about Yeshua that I don't have, a resonance that I do not have, but that's okay. I am here nonetheless. I wish to say to all the sisters, I am here with you as well. Please call upon me. I wish to say to all of the masculine energies as well, please do call upon me. I will also give you strength and courage to incorporate the feminine in you. You have no idea how strong the feminine energy is. And the feminine energy is on the rise, as you say. There's no stopping it now. So all men energies incorporated into who you are and balance yourselves. For all the women, remember I am here as well. This is the balancing of both divine, feminine, and masculine in all of humanity. This is your ascension process as well.
Yeah. It's a big part. It's showing up everywhere.
Yes, it is. And I'm working through many.
So there's probably a lot of women here on this call, I imagine. Do you have any messages for them?
For the women?
Yes. Your sisters.
My sisters in arms. I want you to ask yourselves, what can you do for each other as well? What can you do for other women? What can you do for women who are less fortunate than you? Give them strength, give them courage, and give them faith. Let them know that they are not alone and that there is an energy that's taking place now within your earth vibration, that it is a feminine energy that is combining itself now fully with the masculine, and there's no stopping it. You cannot stop this consciousness, for it is a part of the Christ consciousness as well. Accept it. Open up to it. Let it become you, and you will see magic happen. I am Miriam of Magdala. These are my words I give to you. I am the tower amongst towers, and I shall always be like this.
Yes, lighting the proverbial fire under our buttocks. Too.
Yes, I've told Anthony many times, stop the pity parties. We have work to do. Let's get on with it now. Good.
I welcome and thank you for the authority and certainty in which you speak and transmit. And truly, that's
John, I'm not doing this without you either. It's you who incorporate me. You are a part of me. It is the strength that you have to continue to do this transmission to others. I cannot do this without you either. I am with you and I am in you as Yeshua is. You are a perfect representation of what the divine feminine and masculine truly is.
So true.
Of humanity.
Yes,
and I
so
need
true.
you to share that with others and continue. If you have doubts, you call upon me. I will put the fire underneath you so that you can continue this journey. We need more men like you.
Yeah, so true.
Thank you. And I do call, and I'm so resonant. And there's, again, the given permission to perhaps ask for even more assistance within myself, because I know I don't need permission from you, as you so gracefully and generously share.
But I do think a lot of men do have fear about inviting that feminine energy in, you know. So I think that's, you know.
Are there questions? Is it time?
It's up to John.
I believe we're up on time. I want to invite everybody to the special offer and take advantage of that. And Miriam, again, for the men and for the women.
Yes.
It's the grounded state of being to carry our ability to manifest to the next level of creation. What would be your advice for an energy that we can tune into practically on a daily basis?
I understand what you're saying. You wish me to give you an answer, but I will say this to all of you. Remember that Gaia is your foundation. It is your vibration. It is the feminine aspect of who you are. Ground yourself into that. Remember Gaia. Remember the feminine. And then go outward into the heavens and seek the masculine. Seek Christ. And you will find God. And when you find that, you will find yourself, your true authentic self. But do not be afraid, none of you, to ground yourselves into me. I am here. I am your fermentation. Put your feet into me, and I will hold you down as you are lifted up.
So it's the strength and foundation of the earthbound energy.
That is why I am here through Renee, the divine feminine, into Anthony, the divine masculine. And I will say it again, I do not come through Anthony until I come through the divinity of the female. Allow that to be your new mantra. It is through the feminine that you will understand your true divinity of yourselves. Good.
And that balance that you're talking about is the traditional balance of us as
Yes.
light beings, but it's also the earth and how we respect and take care
And
of
when
it.
you discover that, you will understand that you are neither truly masculine or feminine, and it will all come back again as one.
Beautiful.
Time to leave.
I just wanted to throw that environmental plug in there.
Very
that's
good.
A very strong passion of mine to make sure that we are always remembering that when we respect Gaia and the earth beneath our feet, what we put into the earth comes back to us tenfold.
I'm going to step back now, and I will let Anthony's light, his soul, shine a little bit more. That is all we do. Peace be with you. Love be with you. Grace and gratitude be with you. Abundance is always with you. Now you take these gifts and you share them with others.
Miriam, thank you.
Thank you. 1 second.
Wow.
I will see you later.
And as Miriam was talking about the feminine and the masculine going down into her and letting her allow us to root in and going up into the heavens, it reminds me, as above is so below.
Yeah. And even our indigenous elders, right? Father Sky, Mother Earth, right?
Yes.
These energies and archetypes are across every single spiritual tradition that there is, just said in a different way.
Yeah, so beautiful. All right, y'all, we didn't go completely through the special offer. We rushed through it. It's $111 is a 2-payment option. The 2 live sessions with this amazing energy, these practices, these workbooks, these initiations, these awarenesses, these practices that'll keep you in that resonance that you seek. You know who you are. Dive into that special offer. It's just like, it's so resonant for me. And I'm so excited that it's being made available through here on BTO. So I hope you take advantage of it. Anthony, wow. You're gonna have to come back and listen. Amazing.
Eileen is mentioning that she's been listening to the Schumann resonance, and we talk about that Schumann resonance in the Melchizedek and Metatron course, actually. So that's in there. There's a whole section on solfeggio frequency.
Nice. Well, we're gonna have to. You guys are gonna have to come back. I hope sooner rather than later. And again, this is just it touches me so deeply. It's so illuminating and so just energetically stimulating. Thank you both.
So Alex is asking what time are the live sessions. We can do it based on what you guys want. So we haven't set the times because I was so disheartened when Europeans were like, we can't come to the live session. We have to do the recorded replay. So we'll do a morning session so that those in Europe can do it, and an evening session, which will work for even Australia and New Zealand. An evening session will work. So, you know, we'll shoot whatever you guys want us to do, we'll do it. So
perfect. Can you email the information that was put in the chat box, please? We will send out the information on the replay. So we're going to make this call available so you can listen to it again. Watch for that email. Check your spam folders because emails are going hectic crazy, as y'all are aware. And sometimes they don't all go land in your folder. Look in your promotional tabs, look in your spam folders. But it's definitely going to be emailed, and you can always access those replays also on our website, beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. The special offers will be offered on that replay as well, and all the information's on there. So lots of different places to make sure that you don't forget about the offer, but sign up now, get in place, get ready to ask your live questions and take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll do, like, you know, we're really here for you guys because questions are coming in. I see, is there a date for the live sessions? You guys sign up, we'll throw out some dates, you guys vote, we'll do it. You know, we want to make the dates that work best for everybody, really.
Yeah.
So,
and Suela, there's 2 live sessions. There's a lot of recordings on there. There's an ebook. All the information's on the special offer page. I promise, just scroll down and it's right there. And April's put the link in the chat box one more time. So again, go through the page and it's all there for you. Renee and Anthony are pretty thorough about this. Renee, Anthony, again,
thank you.
Amazing.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Stay in your hearts.
Love you guys also.
Big hearts, big hearts.
Love you guys.
All.
Y'all have a fantastic evening.
Love you, April.
Thank you for being on. Bye, guys.